Hey, what's up, y'all? And this is a Lite-Bulb moment.
I'm Asanir.
And I'm Deshaun.
And it's a motivational podcast.
Is it?
It is.
Oh, awesomeness. I love motivational podcasts.
Stay tuned.
Y'all check it out. What's up, y'all? It is a beautiful day today. Feeling it right now. This is the Lite-Bulb Moments podcast. Here to give y'all some beautiful energy on the start of y'all's week. And I'm Deshaun.
I'm Asanir, baby. Here to give you that positive.
That positive, that beautiful, that optimistic, that sunny, that
loving energy,
that green,
yes,
that holiday, because it's like all the positive stuff. I'm feeling that could be a rap.
Yo, I'm about to say bars.
What?
You
Okay.
Bars. That was at least about 2.
Yo, let me find out my hidden talent when I'm high is that I can rap. Because you know when you high, you got a hidden talent, right? Everybody got a hidden high talent. Let me find out my hidden high talent is that I got bars.
You got 12 to 16 for you when you put that green.
I already write. I'm a songwriter, a singer-songwriter, so let me find out I can just spit if I'm high.
That's a tough. I thought that shit was easy.
What?
Like just trying to write. That's a skill, man.
Oh, but it's beautiful though.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so beautiful. And then it makes your mind always pull from stuff all the time. Like when you're a writer, you're constantly saying shit in your mind and trying to write it down. Remember, like I be trying to write on my phone. Like I think writers have some of the best, most beautiful minds.
Well, that and they try to become a little bit more articulate because you keep having to grow because you're writing so much. Because what I'm finding out with writing is you really start finding better ways to articulate yourself. Like I ain't like writing. I wasn't a big writer.
Right.
So keeping notes, writing papers and all that stuff was tough for me unless you put me on a computer. Like I can type something, but writing is a whole nother beast. So
it's the same thing.
No, it's not. Because on the computer, I can get my thoughts out fast, type, boop, 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 and there's no structure to it. I just put it down. I feel like writing, especially when I say writing, I mean songwriting. That's a whole nother beast because you want it to fit a certain format, and there's a little bit more structure to it.
Right. How you feeling today?
I'm good today, baby.
Good.
I shouldn't have had that white chocolate mocha, though. It's talking to my stomach.
Oh, God.
It's talking to me. That's that dairy.
If you need to shit, there's a restaurant.
No, man.
In the left aisle. In the west wing.
Can't desecrate your apartment like that, man.
I mean, desecration is important.
The defecation is important.
So, you know what I'm saying? I don't want you to be all stuffed up.
No, it's all good, man.
But
It's all good. But yeah, man, we just here to bring y'all that motivation today, man. Show y'all some love. Get you started on your week, man. Make sure you're starting off your week with love and positivity.
Give us that affirmation real quick.
Yeah, let me give you the positive affirmation today. The positive affirmation of the day is, I am in charge of how I feel, and today I am choosing happiness, which is deep.
I am in charge of how I feel, and today I am choosing happiness.
Yes.
I am in charge of how I feel, and today I am choosing happiness.
And say that to yourself.
I am in charge of how I feel, and today I am choosing happiness. So, yeah. Say that 3 times.
Say it 5 times.
I ain't saying it no more.
Say it 15 times throughout the day.
Just in case y'all didn't hear me say it, I am in charge of how I feel, and I am choosing happiness.
Yes.
Awesomeness.
Yes,
Awesomeness. Man. I love that.
Which is a great quote, because it actually helps us segue into our topic of the day.
Thought process. Because you got to get that mind right with that quote, and then the thought gonna process.
You're gonna process that, and you start just building positive energy around yourself behind your thought process and how you project yourself.
Right.
And it's ironic because it sounds easy, but if you haven't grown up or you weren't around people who inspired you to think that way and think in a positive way, and you get to a certain point where you realize like, yo, I'm not as positive as I thought I was, that's a battle.
Yeah.
That's a tough battle, man.
Sometimes the easiest things to do are the hardest things to do. where you can control it yourself, you have to like stay on yourself and make sure you do it, because you have so much control. Versus things that are hard, it's only really the hard way to do it. So you know the steps you have to take to do that hard thing, but when it's easy, you think, oh, it's so easy, so you don't take it as serious.
Right. It's crazy because I looked up the definition of the thought process, and it says the mental process in which beings form psychological associations and models of the world. Thinking is manipulating information, as when we form concepts, engage in problem solving, reason, and making decisions. And with that being said, that's the technical term, but when you apply that to yourself, how many people actually focus on their thoughts? That's my opinion. Like, how many people actually think about or put energy into the way they think affects the things that's going on around them, and affects, like, you're a product of your environment, and your environment is going to dictate how you think. And you hear that shit all the time. You hear that shit growing up. You know what I'm saying? My mom used to tell me, be careful what you ask for, be careful what you say, you just might get it. And that held, even though it holds a lot of weight, we take that shit very lightly.
Oh, yeah.
In our everyday activities and shit that we do. So I just find it very interesting that we don't put more energy into building positive thought process, positive thinking, and also encouraging positive thinking. And actually, I don't. And that statement, I don't. It just hit me. I take that back, and I know why we don't do it, because if we did it, we are conditioned not to think that way. If we did it, we would be a lot more productive as people.
Oh, yeah.
And as a society.
Oh, yeah. It's almost so easy to get distracted. It's so easy to get distracted.
I agree.
Everything's a distraction. And when you're constantly being pulled in so many different ways mentally, you don't really think about your thoughts. That's a funny statement. Do you think about your thoughts? But you don't really take the time to really analyze your thoughts and to shape your thoughts and to make sure they're all going in the same direction, because you're thinking about bills, you're thinking about children, which is a great thing to think about. You're thinking about work, you're thinking about that problem, this problem, that problem, versus it's almost like you need to train yourself to make sure all your thoughts are going in the same wavelength.
I agree with you, and it's in the fact that you said that is very true. You have to train yourself.
Right.
But what should have happened was you should have been trained on it from day one. The problem is most of us have not been trained in that, and you 20, 30 years deep, 40, 50 years deep.
Right. So your
mind has already accepted
yeah.
that way of thinking and handling shit. Mm-hmm. So when you do try to adjust to it, I mean, you really have to change your entire environment.
Right. Most definitely.
And it's funny to me how we used to be like, people sold out when they made it, when they reached a certain level of success, but because they left the neighborhood, because they left that lifestyle behind, or they left their friends behind. But it makes perfect sense, because if you're still carrying those individuals or that baggage or that mind frame,
and they ain't leveled up with
and they ain't leveled up with you, you're gonna continue perpetuating that shit and fall back into that. Mm-hmm. So until you're around people who are doing what you're doing and you start just engulfing yourself in that kind of community,
right.
I mean, you're gonna continue to seeing those downfalls. So you have to leave that shit behind.
Right. I wish we could have started when we were really young, because they say the brain is like a sponge when you're real young. Mm-hmm. So you're being conditioned all the time when you're a baby, and even as a child, because you knew, so you're trying to figure stuff out, and that's like one of the most important things to teach. Why didn't we teach kids that how to think?
Because we're not conditioned to do that. Your parents, okay, so your parent is some individuals have a child at 21. And they haven't been taught that. They haven't even lived life yet. Right. They haven't done anything unless they lived a horrible life and they were forced to maybe go out there and hustle at a very young age. Right. They really are unexperienced. They're trying to figure out their way out in this world. And you have a child. Do you really know what's important to make sure that child is getting the information and the knowledge that they need?
But I think that if we were already teaching it, like if it was an automatic thing, like, yo, when you had that baby, the first thing, if that was in our culture, that the first thing you teach your child is how to think,
Right.
it wouldn't matter what age you had that child, because that would just be automatic.
Okay.
But we're gonna have to start that. You know what I mean? That's something that should just start. So even though, you know, so-and-so got pregnant at 15, you know one thing, just like you know how to do whatever you know when you first learn something, you know that child needs to learn how to think a certain way.
Yes.
So I think it should be like that.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I just understand that most of us haven't put that kind of energy into it.
That's true.
And I hate to make it a black and white thing. It's not really a black and white thing. It's more of a class thing.
I can believe that.
I feel like it's more of a class thing.
But I feel like it's everybody when it comes to thinking. We all think, well, not everybody, of course, but I think every class, every race, everybody, from the most successful to the least successful, could be better thinkers or be more in control of their thoughts. I would say that.
Yes, but they don't want it to be that way.
Right.
The class that controls
the elite.
That controls the cash flow, the wealth, the economy. They don't want it to be that way. If you created thinkers,
right,
most of the stuff that we don't pay attention to wouldn't get passed, and we would challenge. Think about it. Free thinkers challenge people.
Right.
Parents who have a free thinking child get frustrated with that child because that child challenges them, and instead of actually trying to figure it out and cleaning up their stuff and being true to what that child is saying, they get frustrated and they lash out at that child.
Right.
So it's the same thing in adult life. You know what I'm saying? Like when you challenge your supervisor on something that they do, unless they're a very open-minded individual, most of them get frustrated because you're challenging them. You're testing their abilities.
Right.
So, no, man, it makes perfect sense on why we. And then the other thing you said, distractions.
Yeah.
Distractions, man. I mean, shit, not just bills, like you say, bills, family members.
All kind of distractions.
All kind of shit.
I didn't even talk about social media and TV.
Right.
That's a whole nother piece.
That's a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
So, and most of us don't take time out of the day to sit still.
Yeah. And sitting still is important.
Sit still for like 30 minutes of no physical movement, no watching TV, just in your own space to yourself to gather your thoughts.
And a lot of times if you stop and sit still, your thoughts are they'll do it on their own.
Yeah, it start coming together. Everything will start making sense.
I guess that's what meditation is for.
That's exactly what meditation is for.
Yeah.
I met a woman at work one day and we were discussing meditation. And her son was 8 years old. And actually he was, it don't matter. Son was young. And she taught him how to meditate. And I was like, he meditates? Are you serious? Like, y'all sit still in a space and just vibe. And she was like, yeah. She said, I read a quote by the Dalai Lama. It was a Buddhist quote. It was somebody. But long story short, the quote said, if we could teach all our children how to meditate by the time they were 8 years old, there'd be a lot more world peace.
I believe that. Yeah. I believe that. Because a lot of times you just need to stop and breathe.
I mean, how many parents make their children actually teach their children at a young age how to sit still, and then they're frustrated because they go out in public and you let them run wild all day. You let them just burn through their energy, but you never take time to be like, come here, we're gonna sit here. Because like you say, they're sponges.
Right.
If you respect their intelligence and their ability to comprehend what you're saying, the only problem is they can't convey how they're feeling with you.
Right.
But a child understands what you're saying.
Right.
So if you teach them how to sit still, they watch you meditate. They're going to mimic what you do.
They'll do it on their own.
They'll do it on their own.
Right. Versus like grabbing them and forcing them to sit down.
Because that's the energy you're giving off.
Right, exactly.
They still picking up that energy. They still picking up your vibe and your thoughts and what you get. It's funny how I know so many people who were like, they didn't want to be that mom that was aggressive. But they're stressed and they don't know how to get their stress out. And it comes out with their children because their thoughts aren't healthy. Their thoughts aren't right. You know what I'm saying? So they can't think straight. When you can't think straight, you get frustrated.
Yeah.
That's why most men lash out. I'm only saying men because, especially when we get upset, your shit just goes blank.
Right.
And then you get frustrated because you can't convey a good thought or, you know what I'm saying, a healthy thought process. And then you just lash out and you just start getting emotional.
Right. I know with me, I don't get upset often, but that's what I do when I can't think. I just stop and I just stop and not even, but I don't stop and do like something like meditation, nothing. I might say, fuck it. I'll get on social media or something. You know what I mean? I'll do something that's not beneficial to what I was trying to figure out. Almost like if I'm trying to figure something out, say, I don't know. Say I'm a mechanic and I'm trying to figure out how to do this, but so much is coming at me at once and I don't know where to begin. I would say, you know what, forget it. I'll just go inside and play video games, which that kind of sucks too. So I'm just saying that to say that, hell, I can use a lot of help with thought process. At the end of the day, that's what I mean.
With real shit, what you just said is not a bad thing. That's actually a wise thing to do. Whether it be you're frustrated when in an argument with something, you're having an argument, whether you're trying to get something accomplished, you can't beat it. That was actually how I used to beat most of my video games. You get stuck at a certain point. It's getting to the point where you can't think straight. You're doing the same shit. As gamers, what we do is we'll walk away from it. We might not touch it for an hour. We might not touch it for another day. We might not touch it for a week. But when we get back, we're calm, we're relaxed. You get in front of it, and you actually clear your mind. Because what happens is the more you start to fail or lose, it starts fucking with your psyche. And you start believing that this is too hard and it's impossible to beat. My approach, I used to get really, really stoned, get back on, forget how hard that shit was, get back in and just lock in. And I would beat it first time on the rip.
Right.
Or I would figure out the problem because I'm just a lot more clear. But an even better example is when you lose something.
I don't know why I lose my keys every day.
But when you lose them, you can't think straight. And when they're not in the spot where you thought they were, then you really start getting frustrated. And then you don't know where to start at, so you just start tearing everything up. And people always tell you, if you lose it, stop, sit down, give it a few minutes, breathe, and it's going to come right to you. And I guarantee every time.
That's a great technique. The only thing is I be in a rush.
But
you're going to take just as much time.
You're going to take just as much time.
Right.
Because you're moving in haste and you're not thinking shit straight. And you probably passed that shit up like 2 or 3 times in the process. It was right in front of you, but you was so out of it and you couldn't think straight that you couldn't, man, and you couldn't get it. All the way down to like your level of anger and aggression with your thought process. Personally, this is just for me, was angry for years, from my own life experiences. It's been in the last few years I've been trying to let that anger go. And didn't realize how me carrying that anger was affecting my thoughts and how I handle people, therefore missing out on opportunities that came into my life because I wasn't open-minded enough to accept them. So anger is one of the biggest things, you know what I'm saying, especially where you cultivate, because I used to listen to a lot of negative music. I used to listen to a lot of negative rap music. And this is not anything against rap music, because this is how these people are expressing themselves and getting their emotions out. But I took that stuff and I was reciting it. I didn't even go far back, fuck the rap music. I used to watch fucking horror movies.
I hate horror movies.
I used to watch the worst movies. The worst at 8, 9, 10 years old. And I didn't realize what kind of thinking I was cultivating. What kind of effect it would have and what kind of thinking I was cultivating by
used
watching.
To watch like gory.
All of that shit.
I hate that.
All of that shit. Everything that you weren't supposed to watch as a kid that scared the shit out of you. I'm sitting in front of the TV like Tales from the Dark Side, Crib, Hood, all the Jasons, Friday the 13th.
I am such a punk when it comes to
all of that shit. To this day, I still watch it, and I never thought about like, yo, there's a level of darkness behind that.
I don't like being all stressed out during the movie, jumping and shit, shaking. I hate the sight of gore.
So, you know,
but it affects you.
But it affected me.
Yeah.
and it affected the energy
That's
that
energy.
I had, and that's energy.
Yeah.
That's energy. I've heard people say when they get in that positive space, they can kind of how I don't mean to put on blast, but our Jehovah's Witness co-worker, Kiera.
Oh yeah, her. Oh,
She,
Kiera.
as a Jehovah's Witness, it's like they don't interact or do anything of that negative nature. They don't watch, they don't consume anything like that. They don't listen to negative music.
And I love Kiera. Like, I love her vibe.
Her energy, man.
She has great energy.
Great energy.
Beautiful energy.
Well, I realize I got a duality now. I got that dark side that I got as a child, and then I have a real positive energy that I'm trying to tap into more.
And that's important too, because we all have a dark side.
Yes.
Yeah, we all have a duality. Even Kiera, you know.
Yes.
Everyone has that other side. It's all about controlling that other side, right?
And is it being nurtured?
What? So you should nurture the dark side?
No, I'm not saying you should, but is that dark side being nurtured?
Right.
Think about it, because you can nurture the good side, but somebody can also be nurturing that negative shit.
Right.
And since that negative shit was being fed the most, that's what they gravitate towards.
Right.
So that's the kind of energy that they give off. I'm telling you, man, this book on personal magnetism that I've been reading has been serious. Where as far as like understanding energy and how to transmit or emit certain kind of energy.
I wonder if they got that in audiobook.
Man, I don't know. You know they got damn near everything audiobook.
I know. I be wondering. I like audiobook for everything.
Right.
It's like the best thing that ever happened in the world.
Nobody reads anymore.
I know.
We listen to everything.
Right.
Hence podcast.
Exactly.
Hence podcast.
It's like y'all listen to us.
Thank you for not reading as much.
Right.
But, man, my biggest thing is getting back to having a positive state of mind.
Positive state of mind is important. You should be positive, very positive, but I think, I'm not going to say negative is good, but you should still be critical. Because I think sometimes people, what's so crazy is the stuff we're talking about and the stuff I talked about with my friends yesterday. That's the blog topic I'm on.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Kind of, sort of. But anyway, you shouldn't be a fake positive, is what I'm saying.
No, that shit needs to be genuine.
It needs to be a genuine positive.
Fuck around and being and you chanting and shit.
Right.
Like you positive, and then the next thing you somebody step on your shoes. Yeah, yo, bitch ass.
Right.
I
Exactly.
fuck you up. You step on my Vans or whatever I'm wearing or my Jesus slippers.
Right.
You can't be stepping on my Jesus slippers. You know how much these cost? So.
Right.
Like you faking it. But we know people who do that fake shit. Like going around there like, oh Lord, the Lord got me and so on and so forth. And then the next thing you know, they cursing out like
a ball of negativity.
Ball of negativity.
So yeah, it has
people
to,
in the church.
Yeah, it has to be on purpose. I feel.
No, you have to practice it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It has to be intentional
Yes.
with your thought process.
Yes.
It can't just be something you say and not feel.
Right.
So when we said whatever our quote was, see, I forgot it. But when we said it, that's why I was saying it so many times, because you have to like feel that.
I'm in charge of how I feel.
I'm in charge of how I feel.
And today I'm choosing happiness.
Today I'm choosing happiness. So you have to like not just say it, but feel it. And I know it sounds easier than what I'm saying, but
yo, somebody told me this. The best way to do that. Think about something that makes you happy. Think about something that brings you joy and focus on that throughout, like, whatever it is that automatically puts a smile on your face.
True.
When negative thoughts start coming in your mind, think about the inverse of it.
Right. But I don't know. I'm very
Like, I give you an example. Like, dag, my car note just passed. That's $350. I ain't want to think about spending. But, yo, I love my car, though.
Right. Gotta drive.
I'm beating the shit. Fuck driving, man. My last car had me stressed.
Right. But I'm very yin and yang. And balance is important. That's why I keep saying that.
You still have to be in tune with the negative part.
Yeah.
You want to focus on the positive.
Right. You still have to be in tune. And you still have to just be real with yourself. I don't know. But you can do all that and still be positive, though.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying?
Being real with yourself is still like think it's like all based on that person.
Yeah. How
like,
real?
like, what are they being real about?
Right.
And let's be honest.
Well,
what
be
is
honest.
real? What's honest is better.
Yeah, be honest with
Because
yourself.
what is real?
Real depends on that
It's
person.
all perspective.
Yeah, real is perspective. Real ain't real.
Because like when people's like, when keeping it real goes wrong, and say, come on, man,
Right.
you was keeping it real, but that be honest with yourself. That shit was fucked up in what you
Right.
did.
That remind me of Dave Chappelle.
Right. Like, I'm a real nigga. Nigga, I don't snitch. I don't
Right.
snitch. But you know this dude just killed your people.
Right.
Or you know this person just molested. Or you know you could avoid somebody getting hurt, but you was keeping it real and you don't want to snitch on them. Because snitches is negative.
Right. So real is based on perspective.
It's all based on perspective.
I like that.
I mean, everything we do is based on perspective,
Real ain't real.
but honesty is not perspective. Honesty is based in truth. And
Right.
truth is usually based in facts.
Right. I like that. I like that a lot. That's
So,
dope.
You gotta base your shit. You gotta be honest with yourself,
Right.
which is part of a conversation we had earlier about how cats don't be honest with themselves and they be running around.
That's funny.
Talking about.
Yeah. But the thing
I
about
be banging bitches, man. You ain't being honest with yourself. You know you ain't banging bitches.
the thing about that is I can't see how that person could get away with that. Because by the time I met that person, it was clear.
It was Queen down. It was Queen down. What I'm saying.
Like from a yard away, miles away, you could tell from it was very clear. Like I had to be pulled to the side. So it was very there it is.
But that's because that person started being honest with themselves.
Okay, yeah. So I can't even
That person was
see.
no longer caring. They accepted who they are, regardless of what the environment around them said they have to be.
Right, and that's a beautiful thing. I can't even see that person in the light that you said he was in. That's very interesting.
I would moves every day. That's how it goes.
I would love to
That you know,
having the
like,
fly on the wall.
It's the tea. It's the tea. It's the tea.
Yes.
3 snaps.
NZ
Yeah,
formation.
bro. And we live in the A.
I mean, but it's still a fake it till you make it type place. So it is what it is.
Oh shit.
That's funny.
Okay.
Everyone has it's all in your head.
It is.
It's all in your head.
It is, man.
And once you get out of there and get your thought process together, to kind of tie it back in, that's when you'll be able to be okay.
Yeah, and then you start radiating positive energy.
Exactly.
And the energy that you creating flows,
Right.
fuck it, you sending good vibes out instead of, because if you lying, man, you know how hard it is to keep a lie going. Like, come on, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. Ironically, when I've had somebody try to keep a lie going, when I kept my lie going, you have no choice. You get frustrated, you get aggravated, unless you just that fucking cold.
Right.
Unless you just that tight where you got that shit down pack and you can keep it going. But that's tiresome, man.
Is that a movie? Well, they should make a movie like that. I feel like they already did, where they just
Probably
kind of kept the lie going and going. That would be a funny concept.
That man,
Oh my
he's
God,
just frustrated
that'd be
after a while, man. That's too much fucking work. Or imagine like a lie where you're trying to place fault on somebody else.
Right.
And you automatically got to generate anger.
Right.
And you lying to yourself, so you create negative energy.
You create negative energy.
Just to keep a lie going.
Right.
Like, it's your fault. It's your fault when you know at heart, really, you are the reason why that shit is not working.
Would you say lies are always negative?
Yes.
All lies are negative, no matter what it is. That's what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Even a lie to the Easter Bunny.
Yeah, it's a horrible lie.
That's okay.
I think Christmas is a horrible lie. I think
Okay.
the Easter Bunny is a horrible lie. Any kind of false iconic figure that we create to manipulate. I mean, all that shit was a Hallmark holidays. It was shit that people made up for marketing.
Right.
So marketing ploys.
So all lies are
money.
evil.
I'm not gonna say evil, but I think negative.
Negative. Okay.
Because Why are you lying?
There's a motive behind every lie.
Yeah, but is it really a positive motive?
Oh no, not positive, but just a motive.
Right. Yeah. I agree with you, but are you really lying to help the situation? Because if it's something that you feel is gonna hurt somebody, you ain't gotta say them. You ain't gotta answer them. And if they really want to know, then tell them the truth.
Right.
If she asks you, "Do I look good in this dress?" and she don't look good in this dress, then you need to tell her no.
Bitch, you fat.
You need to tell her the real. If she gets upset, then you need to convey to her that you asked me to tell you the truth. Now, if you want me to lie to you, I'll lie to you. And then if I lie to you, you can't be upset when I lie to you.
And it's a way. It's all an approach.
It's an approach.
Like, you ain't got to be like, you know.
You look like shit. You're like,
right.
No, love, that doesn't suit
I'm not
you
feeling
well.
that one.
That's not it.
Right, exactly.
But
your delivery, it says...
It's a lie.
Yeah, you can do anything with delivery. I'll say that 1,000,000 times. You can say anything with the right delivery.
My mother from another brother and sister.
They mama.
Mm-hmm. She hit me some real juice. She said, you can say anything you want as long as you think about the what, when, how, why. Did I say where?
I think you said
where and how.
Oh, how.
But you know, the 5 W's and the H.
W's.
As long as you use
who,
those.
What, where, when, and why and how, yeah.
Yep. When you take those, when you apply that to when, you telling somebody something, that'll change everything.
Right.
Most of us don't do that. Like when she was saying that, I'm sitting here thinking about relationships that I have where I was like, okay, maybe I should have adopted that rule when I was trying to express myself to this person.
I mean, that's a great thing to say because why do they have those words? You know what I mean? Like, they're here for a reason, so why not use it?
But most people, when they apply it to, like projects and shit like tasks.
Yeah.
Most people want to apply it to tasks. You don't apply it to like your everyday life.
Yeah, that's a great thing. You should be surprised all the tools we got around here that we don't be using.
Right.
That's interesting.
We don't meditate. Man, everybody's tripping off this what's this what health video. But the information is it's about the food and how the food is being processed. But I'm kind of like, come on, man, you have to know. Because you got tools around you that tell you, that show you, like, the stuff we consume and is not good for us.
You ain't got to know everything, but you got to at least know.
You got to be aware.
You were just, they were aware. They were in denial. That's what it is.
Without a paddle.
Right.
Stream up that river.
Hey.
Light bulb moment. Bing, you should have seen it go off. It just went off. You can see it in his face.
That's funny. Denial.
In a boat without a paddle. Bars all day.
That's somebody rap lyric. Oh, my computer sick. But yeah. How you feel?
Stomach bubbling.
Oh, okay. You feel fine.
I don't know, man. I don't know if shit's supposed to make you feel like this. But it's all good. I'm going to make it through.
Right.
I'm going to make you. I ain't got no choice but to survive. I'm going to survive, you dig?
That's what's up.
I'm a Hurricane Katrina survivor. Plug.
That's some survival skills like a motherfucker right there.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
But I had to have a good thought process. Actually, that's the only reason I made it through that shit, bro.
You had to.
You had to.
Because that's catastrophic.
Yeah, that shook a lot of people's fucking world, man.
Yeah.
Directly and indirectly.
Oh, yeah.
Because people who weren't
even me meeting you.
Right.
Yeah.
Man, that shit changed everything. The only reason I made it through it is because my man didn't give me any time to sit back and dwell on it. And all I could, and the whole time I did it, and it's funny, it's crazy how I applied it to that, but nothing else, any other situation emotionally any other situation that affected me emotionally. But with that situation, my whole thought process was, I gotta stay positive. This is really not as bad as it seems. It actually gave me more opportunity and opened my eyes up to where I was in life and what I need to do to actually be successful. Well, not successful, but to survive.
You're right.
Because I was just living. And then I went from living and surviving. And now I want to get back to enjoying life.
12 years ago?
Yeah, that's about 12 years ago. Actually, in the next month, it'll be the anniversary.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
next month, it'll be the anniversary.
Yeah. That was interesting.
Or depending on when this is released, last month would be the anniversary. Let me get that out there. But it's August to be the anniversary of it.
Right.
But yeah, man, that was.
Whenever you're in the moment like that, you got to make sure your thoughts are
100% pure. It was a few times that it hit me, and I just started thinking about the worst. But at the end of the day, I ended up having more money than I had in my account beforehand. Because when it happened, I had like $123, and it was done. I had a couple of G's.
Nice.
And I had to figure out where I was going to live.
Do you think you would have stayed in New Orleans if it never would have happened?
If Hurricane Katrina would have happened, no. I would have just put myself in a... I'm about to put my foot in my mouth. But fuck it, 2 days in the bucket. That's well over 12 years ago. I would have put myself in a relationship situation that probably wouldn't have had the best outcome for me.
Gotcha.
Because I would have left New Orleans, but I wouldn't have left because I knew what I was doing. I was trying to accomplish something. I was going along with a plan that I had with somebody. I was dating somebody for 5 years, and she moved. So,
interesting.
I was going to leave with her. And then Katrina happened, and we were going through a rough time, and Katrina, I mean, it's crazy. Thought process is all about perspective. Before Katrina, I lost my job 7 months before Katrina. I lost the apartment that I was living in with my ex. And I lost vast majority of my money because I had to pay rent. The lady let me on my lease, but I had to pay for it. I lost the rest of my savings. Had to move back in with my mom. And I was going to school, but I didn't know what I was going to school for. And then when Katrina hit, the hotel I got fired from shut down.
Right.
Everybody lost their job.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, for them.
Yeah.
For them, I had already lost mine, and they got their last paychecks in like a $500 severance check. And depending on what position you were in, you got you might have been able to transfer,
right?
But you lost your job. The apartment I lived in was a basement level apartment. All my shit would have got flooded.
Oh.
When I moved in with my mom, she stayed in an apartment complex on the second floor. So the third floor got roof damage. First floor got flood damage.
That's crazy.
Second floor, everything was fine.
That's crazy.
Think about that. But when I was going through it, when I had to move out and move in, it was the worst time of my life.
That's God.
That's God.
Yeah.
And then the shit I was going to school for that I was all uncertain about was literally preparing me for the career that I was about to get into.
Oh, damn, that's God. That's interesting.
That's real shit. But in hindsight 2020, I'm like, and the job that I ended up getting was the job that helped me stack the money so that I could move, because I got my job back right after Katrina because the restaurants were opening back up.
Right.
And it didn't get affected, so I just switched locations, and the manager that I knew at that restaurant remembered me, and she hired me on the spot. So I come back whenever you want. Like, I had a job waiting for me when I got back.
It's like the universe was working out.
The universe. So anytime something negative happens in my life, and I see and craziness starts happening, I know the universe is preparing me for something big that's about to happen. That's the perspective. That is my thought process from this point on.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
When you're in the moment, it feels horrible and it's the worst thing that's going on, but truth be told, something big is about to happen. Because if you didn't have craziness happening in your life like that and everything was even killed, then that means nothing new is about to come in your life.
It's about to be a long road.
You're about to just be riding this even kill forever, and you can be doing the same shit. But when big things start happening and change starts occurring that you weren't aware of, or you felt like it's out of control, that's because it's the universe taking control, because something bigger and better is about to happen to you. Right. It's about to affect you, and you need to be prepared for it. And that's what I got from Katrina. That's how it affected my thought process.
That's interesting. That story was very interesting.
Yeah, because that was a dark-ass moment. I know a lot of people who... That's like young people who that shit just stained, like that shit left a real bad stain on their life and their psyche. And then I know a lot of people who like strive from like who came up, who would have never been in the position that they were in, whether they went back to New Orleans or they left New Orleans. And then if you really want to look at the big picture, the city was so poor most people didn't get a chance to leave New Orleans. They might have been able to go to other places in Louisiana, or let's say most people couldn't even leave outside of Louisiana. That's why it was very interesting that people who didn't live in Louisiana or in the Gulf would be like, how do you live there, or why didn't you leave? Because most of these people couldn't even afford the cost of living who lived there, let alone being able to go on a vacation or get in a car and drive and afford a hotel and do whatever. It was just cheaper and easier for them to stay there and ride through the storm. So it was crazy because it made them get out of their comfort zone. It forced them out of their comfort zone, and it made them see that the world had a lot more to offer. Everybody didn't want to accept them. Some people decided to take the red pill instead of the blue pill and go back into the matrix. But people who got to see what the world really had to offer, I mean, it's a lot of children who would have grew up in that horrible-ass school system. And I can say that because I grew up in that horrible-ass school system. My mom was a teacher in that school system and got to go to Houston and other big cities and other states and see
a lot of y'all
and get a better opportunity, right? And come to Atlanta and get a better education and aspire to do more with themselves because they saw that, you know, there was other opportunities out there. It just forced people out of their comfort zone.
Right.
It was the biggest, like, it forced me out of my comfort zone.
So you would say Katrina was a good thing?
I would say it was a blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
It was a horrible-ass event. And then it exposed our country and their ability to handle natural disasters.
Yeah. A light came from Katrina.
Yeah. It made us clean up FEMA.
Yeah.
It made FEMA clean up their act a little bit. I mean, it put our president on the spot.
Yeah. Like, dead on the spot. Was he on vacation? That was funny.
And it brought a lot of revenue and stuff back to New Orleans. It made New Orleans clean up. New Orleans has had to modernize. It was an old town. They have been remodeling.
That's crazy because I went to New Orleans going on 2 years ago, and it was beautiful. I was like, it's nice. But we didn't go to the hood part.
Right, but the hoods don't exist.
Oh, okay, they're
knocking them down. The hoods were the projects.
Right.
And then a lot of the other hoods have been gentrified.
So maybe we did go to the hood part. We didn't know.
You didn't know
it
was
used
the
to
hood.
be the hood.
You didn't know it used to be the hood because white people had moved into it. Oh, man, I could talk to you about Katrina for hours. I could talk about the gentrification. I could talk to you about New Orleans and the cost of living. You could talk about politics of the state of Louisiana.
Yeah.
Like, that's a long conversation, but it wouldn't be motivational.
I know, right? I was thinking that too. I was like, right now though?
No, it wouldn't be motivational.
Yeah, that's what's up. So what's your light bulb moment?
My light bulb moment when it comes to the thought process is I realize how much I dwell into negativity, how much energy I put in negativity. And I want to remove all that from me and started seeing the beauty of everything. You know what I'm saying? Even if somebody slaps you in your face or fucks you over, being able to turn the cheek and still see them as a beautiful person. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm serious about that. Like, being able to see their perspective on why they did what they were supposed to do, instead of sitting back and just sitting in my own ego and being
that
like... That
takes maturity.
That takes a lot.
Yeah.
You know?
Cool.
I know.
That's hard. That's a hard one. Ew. Mine is, I like how real is relative. Real isn't really real because real is based off of what you think is real.
Perspective.
Yeah, based off of perspective. So yeah, that's my light bulb moment.
That's what's up.
Yeah. So a lot of times when a person says they're keeping it real, that might not be real to you, but to them,
that's their lifestyle. That's what matters. That's what counts.
Right.
That's the environment they came up in.
Right. So yeah. Well, that was good.
Yeah, that was.
Enjoyed that.
I hope y'all enjoyed that. I hope y'all got something positive from that.
Y'all enjoy y'all weeks. You know, think about everything we said today from our quote. What was our quote again?
Hold on. I got it coming. I am in charge of how I feel, and today I am choosing happiness.
So yeah.
I'm still choosing happiness right now as we record.
Choose happiness. Choose happiness. So
somebody piss you off and cut you off in line, choose happiness. Right. Let them be and let them keep moving. You dig? You never know. It might happen for a reason.
It might make you happy to beat that ass, though.
No, because when the police come, you gonna be mad as a motherfucker when they arrest you for assault.
Choose happiness.
Choose happiness.
That's all I'm saying. Choose happiness.
No doubt, man. So where they can hit you up at, man?
At Deshaun Duran, DESHAUN, on everything. And at the George Pat. That's my blog. George Pat. Ooh. Sidebar. It took me a long time to learn how to spell George. And my two middle names. I swear to God, it took me like a long time. But anyway.
Just because they can't see my face, I'm going to let them know that I'm making a real strange face at your ass right now.
I was so used to writing Deshaun Patterson. And then when it was time to, like, I guess fill out forms and stuff, and I get like maybe a license, or I don't know. But it took me a long time to learn how to.
Man, y'all can find me at AwesomeNia17. You heard me? On Snapchat, on Instagram. You can get me at AwesomeNia Taylor on Facebook. I'm gonna get that shit switched out. You dig? And yeah, that's about it, baby. You heard me? Y'all stay live, baby. You heard me? Y'all stay live.